Ayo, what is going on, guys? Alejandro here, and welcome back to another episode of Magayon. In this episode, we're gonna start doing the Old Walled City. And here is the planning process behind the Old Walled City. So initially, I thought of taking inspiration from Intramuros in Manila, but things have changed, and the plan has changed slightly. I'm still using kind of the similar road layout that I used in the past episodes, but I added in this palace with a moat around it because, or temple, I'm still not quite sure. But it's like the highest place in the area. That's where the royals live, and I'm going to be talking more about the hierarchy and stuff, like the classes, the citizens living in this walled city later on in the video. But just a few notes: the left side in the moat, that's where the royal family lives, and around them are like government stuff, like where ancient people lived. You can see me the old temple, but this is not that old. It's more of built in the 16th century, so it's not that old. But I think I'm going to be building an older one, like before this. I have an entire story about this, but you see here the expansion of the walled city as the years progressed, and the roads that were built after in the decades following. And mind you that the city is scaled way down, so this should have been like a huge city. But yeah, we're starting off here with the moat already built in, and with these Thai temple assets being placed on the sides. And I've downloaded procedural objects, by the way. Yay, congratulations. Without this, I had a very difficult time creating this episode, and this episode is only like half of it. This is like part one of the palace, and I was learning how to do this. Like how is procedural? How do procedural objects even work? And I was having a hard time deciding because I'm it's so hard finding assets in the workshop basically, and I had a lot of iterations for this old walled city because it's supposed to be like Southeast Asian, but I don't want it to be one specific type. But sadly, it's the only thing that's available in the workshop. So here's the first attempt at the temple. I made this like square cross thing, but yeah, it didn't actually end up being so. There's actually like a wall around this like thing, as you can see there, and I put these buildings on top of them. And then I decided that these like corridors and stuff will be the walls of the city itself. And yeah, it kind of looks good like the first trial, but it's different. I want it to be coherent all the way around, like it's one singular building, one singular thing. But once again, this is scaled way down. And yeah, that poses a great challenge for me because I'm the one who has to change everything and scale everything properly. But thankfully, we have procedural objects, and often I go down to the first person mode just to like fix things up to make it look like, so that people won't be like too big for them. I think the Sims are off scale in the city. But anyways, we've already started building, and I just want to say that this episode is first part of the episode is not going to be like the full episode because a lot of things are still missing. We're still missing a lot of the detailing, we're still missing a lot of the fine parts, and I wanted to do this because I wasn't the inspiration. I wasn't feeling, and it was, yeah, it was lacking. The inspiration was lacking, and I wanted you guys to have an input on this like project because I want to respect like the culture and stuff. So because I'm using Thai Buddhist assets, but I don't think the city is going to be Buddhist. I'm just not quite sure because I'm thinking of bringing back like the pre-colonial stuff, like the own belief systems of the Philippines before the Spanish came with Bathala and all that kind of stuff. And the architects at that time just copied the Thai people, and they were like so inspired by Buddhism, and they were like, oh my god, why don't we take hints from Buddhism and just apply them into our own architecture? But if I had a chance to build my own buildings, it wouldn't be like this. But sadly, these are the only things in the workshop, and yeah, that's that. So now I have changed the walls, I have removed the building, and I used the Ho Chi Minh memorial or something from Vietnam, and it was so big Like it was taking up the entire space in the temple ground. So thank God for procedural objects. I should have done it a long time ago, but it was kind of like weird and wonky. So yeah, I'm going to be talking more about the planning process here. As I've said, this central temple, like once again, it's scaled way down. This is where the leader of the city. Yeah, that's here's a little bit of cinematics. Yes. Yes, look at that. It's gorgeous. It's amazing. Some of you guys have commented that this wall doesn't really quite fit with the vibe. And I'm like, yeah, this is the old wall. This wall was like built, and before we even built this area, like the capital was not even built. When we built the road networks. And yeah, so I'm going to be changing that in the future. But if you have any suggestions for any more assets that I could place in this city that fits this aesthetic, hit me up in the comments and send me some links, because it's very tedious. I what do you call this? I underestimated the scale of this project. Even though it's small, it takes a lot of effort doing so. So here's the second attempt. I tried using these university buildings from Thailand, but they didn't quite fit the vibe check, because I was thinking this would be a little bit old, and the Philippines, yeah, even though this is like a fantasy, a fictional city, it still has to be realistic, because the Philippines wasn't that big of a country, because yeah, we were separated. We were various different nations. In each island had their own kingdom and all kind of stuff. So this was built after. So here's a little story about how this place came to be. This was built during the 1600s after they have the biggest barangay, or the biggest kingdom of sorts in the Luzon area, united all the biggest tribes to defend themselves from the looming threat of colonizers. So after like I think Miguel Lopez de Legazpi, they had like a war and stuff, and they won, and they weren't colonized, and they just yeah. I took inspiration from Thailand with how they avoided colonization by having specific trade deals and stuff. But I think the way that this city stayed untouched by colonialism, but not untouched, like not completely touched by colonialism. There will be some hints of colonialism, because it's inescapable, guys. The Europeans are inescapable. Even Thailand and Japan can't escape their sphere of influence. So yeah, this capital was built in honor of the leader of the tribe, the leader who united the biggest tribes in Luzon. Luzon is the old name for the people who were like living in the Luzon area, which is the biggest island, yeah, or something. If you want to learn more about the prehistoric Philippine history and all that kind of stuff, I would recommend you guys watch Kirby Aralio. I've been watching a lot of his videos after I saw his reaction to Raya and the Last Dragon, and it's been eye-opening, to say the least. And I've learned a lot about Philippine history, and yeah, history that I never knew existed, and it made me more proud to be Filipino. And we are such a diverse country, and I want to feature diversity in this series, inclusivity and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so I am using these Thai assets. I forgot what these are called. These are Buddhist temples, I guess. Is a place of worship, and I think it kind of fits in with the vibe of this place, because this is like where the people worship the god and stuff. But I don't think Magayon will be a Buddhist country. I think the Buddhist influence is strong in this one, because once again, it's the only asset that's available in the workshop, and it's the only Southeast Asian like kind of thing that's available there. So I had to do with what I had. But yeah, this is not going to be like Buddhist temple. This is more of a, I don't know what religion we had. We had a lot of various different gods. We have like the Egyptians, or the god of the sun, god of the water, moon, god of war, or something like that. We had those things. And if you want to learn more about the mythical stuff, the mythical vibe, the mythical environment, the mythicalities of the Philippines, once again, highly suggest you watch Kirby Aurelio's videos on YouTube. I'll be linking them down below because I can't explain them. I only watch them for entertainment and also for educational purposes because I'll actually learn more on YouTube than at school. So yeah. Yeah, hit me up in the comments if you actually learn more from YouTube than you learn at school, because I certainly do. Now you see me place the roofs in this building, and they're like four sides, but they're like three different roofs together. Once again, three. Three is a special number in Magayon. If you have seen the last few episodes on how I made like a special big thing about three, because even though in real life three is a special number, yeah, they have a lot of symbolism in various different cultures, and I also wanted to add that into Magayon. And yeah, for this time, the three is like, I don't know. It's like because the roof is like three and it's shaped like a triangle, it's pointing up. It's symbolic of ascension and bringing the people up into the skies, like the gateway to heaven. And yeah, we have three sides. And in those, I love this asset so much because it's so intricate and so detailed. There's actually like a carving of Buddha, I think, in the center, and it's like filled with a lot of these ornamentations, which is very Southeast Asian, and I love it so much. And yeah, let's just imagine that those are the gods. I can't do much with these assets because I'm not that well with procedural objects. I'm still not accustomed to it that much, and I just use it to rescale the buildings and stuff. And even that, I had issues. You saw that I was like not satisfied. I always do the wrong stuff. But yeah, we will learn. And the next episode is going to be a little bit more detailing on the palace sides, building the surrounding stuff. And yeah, look at how gorgeous the silhouette of the building looks gorgeous. And most of the cinematics are just going to be the silhouettes of the building. We're not going to be looking at it from the top down because it looks bare bones. It looks very simple. And yeah, I explained to you the three, and it's also like reminiscent of the volcano. So the lore of this, we're gonna take inspiration from real life and also its own. Here's a little bit of history on the Mayon volcano. We actually have like an alamat, or like a historic story, or like fairy tale. I don't know what alamat is in English, but it's like basically the origin story of something. So Mayon volcano had an origin story, a fantasy origin story, where Magayon was the burial place of the most beautiful girl in Bicol, Magayon. Yeah, Mayon volcano was based on Magayon. She was this girl that was in the river in Legazpi, not Yawa River. My God, I forgot. Basta, I think it's the river in Legazpi, and she was bathing there and all that kind of stuff. And this dude, like, Panganoron, I guess, Cloud, Ulap. Yeah, Panganoran is like Bicol for Ulap, but that's Naga Bicol, not Legazpi Bicol. Yeah, it's a dialect because Bicol, I don't think Bicol is actually a dialect. I think it's more of a language, but I don't understand why we treat them as dialects because they're completely different languages. And we have our own, like, yeah, a dialect is more of like focused on, I guess, the change in intonations and the minor details, but we have the different grammar structures. But yeah, because we're so different from each other. Yeah, once again, checking back on this history, on the story of the Alamat, Daragang Magayon, like, she's a teenage girl. She was Daraga, like a teenage girl, and she's beautiful. So Ulap fell in love with this woman, and their love was like, it wasn't, it's like Romeo and Juliet. Like, I think they were not, their love was forbidden. It's forbidden love. Forbidden love. So they would like go into the like river in secret, and then yeah, I actually forgot the story, but it's more of like she died. So he like made this burial place for her, and she's like, they're like royal and stuff, and their families didn't quite get along. Yeah, basically like Romeo and Juliet type of thing. So she was buried in the middle of this forest, and then as the days went by, the years passed, a volcano like started to grow. Like there was like a heap of soil growing, and then it became Mayon volcano. So yeah, and then Panganoron, who was deeply in love with Magayon, was yeah, Cloud. So his name is Cloud, basically. So Cloud was like, it's the cloud that covers Mayon volcano. Here's a beautiful picture of it, the cloud hugging Mayon volcano, and it's so stunning. If you guys real, I sometimes whenever I go outside, which I rarely do, and when I see the volcano, I'm always in awe with how beautiful it is and how huge it is. It's like gigantic as compared to the buildings and the other stuff in the area here in our hometown. And yeah, it's just gigantic. So I think the Magayon people worship, I think Magayon is the goddess, deity that they worship here, kind of stuff. And yeah, we have a lot of different gods in the mythology of the Philippines, and I'm gonna be researching more on that. But yeah, this is the place where they worship like all of them, and each like those towers, I think are, some people call them vimanas, but I'm not quite sure. I searched them up and it's like flying things. A lot of cultures have this like UFO type of thing in them, but yeah, anyways, yeah, I added this, like it's gonna be more of gardens in the front. This is more of like where people enter, like where the boats like trade and stuff. This is like the royal entrance. This is like VIP, all that kind of stuff. But this is built during the 15th, 16th century, like after the Spanish came, and when the Spanish came, basically. And yeah, this is actually a newer building. I took inspiration from Bangkok with the story of this capital. Like this is a newer capital built later on, and a lot of you guys have asked like make it older, like make it like Angkor Wat, but I think I'm going to have something like that, deeper in the forest, like deeper in the river and more secluded in a different place, because it just doesn't fit in with the newer city here. And this is newer, and this is supposed to be like European, but I changed it to Southeast Asian. And yeah, that is that. This is the palace, the shape of the palace all completed, and now I'm fixing the road network. So yeah, this road network is quite messy. I changed the alignments and stuff, and I will be fixing up the park, because this road right here goes straight through this is like the avenue that goes straight through the palace. And yeah, I'm realigning everything there. I will be realigning the park, the things in the park in the next episode, the museums and stuff. And these walls are temporary. I will be changing them in the future. But if you guys have any other suggestions, I highly recommend you hit them up in the comments, because I actually like don't know. I'm not that well versed in the workshop, and it's been so hassleless like finding the right assets, because there are so little Southeast Asian assets that I have to just make do with other assets in the workshop. Most of the assets are from China and Japan and a little bit of Korea, and yeah, it's been quite difficult finding the assets, and I haven't got the time to actually do them. So I'm leaving it up to you guys to help me find the assets that would fit this place perfectly. And I've also wanted to share this with you guys a little bit early on, because I want to get your guys' opinion on this. I want to get your feedback, because it's the walled city is still in its early stages, and I want to have your input on it, community and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, the roads are gonna be gridded, because that's how most Southeast Asian cities, like ancient cities, are. Like I saw it from Angkor Wat, and most of them are like grids. Grids are the easiest way to like build a city for expansion. New York had this amazing plan, and yeah, now I'm building this like opposite the river kind of road thing, and across the palace, perpendicular or parallel or something facing the palace, there is like a memorial or a park that sits directly in front of it. And yeah, and this beautiful, gorgeous waterfront promenade. And yeah, this side will be another kingdom. Not a kingdom, it's more of a small barangay, a township, a polity and stuff. It is Tondo. It's gonna be more of a, yeah, I think I'm gonna build Chinatown directly in front of this one, because in the lore, this city had strong ties with China, Southeast Asia, and the Europeans. So yeah, I think a Chinatown, because all major cities kind of have a Chinatown. So Magayon will have a Chinatown that will be placed directly in front of the capital. Oh no, the palace. Yes, this will be placed directly in front of them, and it's gonna look. I'm so excited to work on this series, but yeah, we actually have. I downloaded the realistic population mod, so I didn't place any other buildings, but the population grew, which is kind of nice. And yeah, building up these roads, laying down the road networks. It's more grids. Those two on the side of the walls of the palace, it's gonna be more of gardens and more of the where the Maharlika are like the noble people. There is like a ranking of the people, hierarchy of citizens and stuff in the Philippines before the Spanish came. There were the royal bloods. There were the free people. There were two types. There were like the warriors and the farmers, and there were the slaves. So yeah, the free people and the royal people live inside the walled city. Like yeah, they will in there. But the slaves and the farmers, they lived outside. So the farmers they're like higher than the slaves because slaves don't have freedom. And if the slaves before were like, it's either you're born a slave or you have like a crime, so you become a slave temporarily until you finish your like in a prison or something, you finish your sentence, and after that you're back to being free again if you succeeded. And yeah, now I'm building the tram system. There's like a tram line going around because this side of the city was built later on, because once again the scaling of this thing is super scaled well down, and I want to fit as much detail as I can. So most of this is gonna be, cars are not allowed inside unless it's like emergency vehicles and like the royal family or the entourage. I don't know, special vehicles are only allowed, and private vehicles are not allowed inside. I will be searching for assets. I want to add these like the kalesa, I think, like horse ridden, people ridden. Like I haven't found any in the workshop. Yeah, it's a little bit sad that we don't have those assets, but yeah, we have to make do with what we have. But yeah, I will be having a tram that goes around inside the old city. Yeah, I will be changing those walls, by the way. And we have two main roads. We have that one lined with trees. I will be removing the road markings because it's more of an aesthetic choice. Cars are still not allowed to go there. And we have this tram road that goes all around. Most of the roads are going to be tree lined, and yeah, I'm testing out various different buildings so that when we actually do like the city, build the city around it, it's gonna look nice. But I'm still not satisfied with the buildings. The heights, they should not be that tall. They should be low rise like this one. And yeah, it's a challenge finding assets. But yeah, it is what it is. Sadly, this is the end of the video. I hope if you enjoyed this video and enjoy the story of Mayon Volcano as badly as I explained it, I will be linking the stories down below if you want to see them in a better explanation of them. And yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up and comment down below anything you want to see next or anything you want me to fix or any suggestions for this episode, because I highly need it, and links for like workshop items and all that kind of stuff. And if you want to support this channel, consider subscribing. Only 30% of you guys are subscribed, so if you subscribe, it would mean so much for the channel, and comment as much as you can in this video because that's how the algorithm likes that, and leave a like and all that kind of stuff. And if you want to support me even more, consider becoming a patron on patreon.com/Calejandro. Get exclusive content, become an official citizen, early access to my videos, and much more. This is Calejandro signing off. Bye!